YouTube, what's going on? This is Argon here, bringing you another video about Fortnite and how to build. Today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 worst builds, or I don't know if you want to call them bottom 5, whatever it is. We're going to talk about the top 5 worst builds that you could actually do. Now, I want to start with this video by saying we're not out here to look at really funny builds or weird builds that people do. We're actually looking at very common, popular builds that people are always doing that are actually probably bad for you, and you should probably stop doing them. Now, before I actually go into the list, I'm going to go ahead and say that in every single one of these circumstances, you might actually want to use these builds. It just depends on the situation. You have to be aware of it, but in general, to be on the safer side, I would avoid using them altogether, but I'll try and explain when you might actually want to use them. So coming in at number 5, we have anything you can build around a supply drop in order to protect yourself while you're opening a supply drop. All of us know what the supply drop is. A big yellow balloon falls very slowly from the sky. It's very obvious, draws a lot of attention, makes a noise when it comes into the map, makes a noise when it gets opened. So if it's ever dropping into the map, everybody knows that's in the area that is there, so it's going to have eyes on it. The last thing you want to be doing is building walls around it to protect yourself. It may seem like a good idea. You want to protect yourself while you're looting. However, all that's going to do is alert anybody that's actually watching it that somebody's already there and they might nade you or RPG you. Either way, you're going to make yourself a sitting duck, and then you're going to find yourself in a gunfight rather than looting for some good loot. My best suggestion when it comes to this is, because a lot of times you have people scouting it, waiting to see if somebody will push the supply drop to get an easy kill. Find a location that you can approach the supply drop in that's a little bit safe, and come up from behind it, hide behind the boxes, generally enough cover behind the box that nobody will see you on the other side. Open it, loot real quick, and get the heck out of there. Now, once you've opened it, maybe you want to build yourself a couple spam walls, but either way, I would avoid building it to draw less attention to yourself. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to say build yourself anything that has a roof on it. Generally speaking, you don't want to box yourself in, especially when it gets to be late round. You got to start seeing a lot of RPGs. You just make yourself a real sitting duck. Everybody knows you're in there. They can just keep an eye on you, wait for you to come out, nade you, shoot at your build, whatever it is. You have no way of defending yourself because you can't see out there. It may sound like a good idea, but at the same time, you're probably going to make yourself not in a good situation. Basically, you can't actually fight back. You're just hoping people forget about you, and that's really not the position you want to be in. Now, in some cases, again, this might be helpful. Like if you're sitting at the bottom of a cliff and there's people above you, you might want to throw a rock on a roof on top just in case they decide to throw a grenade down. That would protect you. That would be okay, but you definitely want to get out of that situation right away. It's not a place where you want to actually hold up and stay there for a while. Coming in at number 3, we have the infamous Stairway to Heaven. Now, many of you guys have seen this. It's basically a forever infinite ramp. People like to build them. I don't know why they like to build them. They just like to see how high they can get. It can be kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. It does look cool to see it. Now, in most cases, this is not very useful. It's just a good way to draw attention to yourself, and all somebody has to do is shoot the bottom ramp out and your entire ramp will fall, and most likely you'll die on impact, which is not a situation you want to be in. Now that they have the launch pad though, that's when you'll see the Stairway to Heaven get used more often, because you need to get some elevation so you can actually use the launch pad to your advantage and get out of whatever situation you're in. This is actually pretty useful if you're stuck in a storm, and if you should happen to have a launch pad, this is actually the best way to get out of a storm situation. Build yourself a long ramp like a Stairway to Heaven, put a launch pad at the end of it, and go ahead and get yourself out of the storm. That would probably be the only situation where you might actually want to do it. The other situation is if you're trying to climb a mountain, but in that case, what you want to do is wrap around the mountain and build yourself ramps that are stuck into the wall or into the mountain itself. Once there's a ramp that's stuck into a mountain, that's an anchor point. It can't be shot down by shooting down the bottom of the ramp. So that's something that you guys got to learn how to do. But in general, avoid the Stairway to Heaven in most situations. Coming in at number 2 is similar to the Stairway to Heaven. It's a sky bridge. Basically, you'll see people that build something from one mountain to another mountain. They just, rather than climb down, they either build a bridge across. Again, same scenario. If they shoot out any of the ledges or bridge pieces, the whole thing's going to fall, and then you're probably going to crash and die. Not a good situation to be in. Again, circumstantial, but the circumstances where you might actually want to do this are even less important or less frequent. It's not like you need it for a launch pad, so take that in consideration. I would suggest avoiding these at all costs. It just makes yourself very easy to get yourself killed. And coming in at number 1, the top number 1 build that you do want to avoid at all costs is the Mega Fort. Now, I know there's an obsession in this game to build these super elaborate forts, and they definitely make it so that you can really build some cool stuff. And I'll admit, when you go to a fort and you see it, it's built up, it looks pretty intimidating. It can look pretty cool. You can put roofs on it, all kinds of weird angle stuff on it. It looks really cool, but it does a lot of negative for you. A, it's going to draw a lot of attention to you, so people are going to know that you're there, and you're going to be the center of a lot of gunfights. And most of the time, if you're able to actually build a Mega Fort, you're going to end up building near the middle of the circle, so all you're doing is telling everybody that's pushing the circle that you're actually there and that they should go ahead and engage you because they see you as a threat. B, it's also going to use up a lot of your material, which if you end up getting stuck in a moving circle where you lose the fort, you've just wasted all that material. C, if people do start firing at you, you're going to waste a lot more material trying to rebuild, and you're going to have to run around a lot constantly trying to rebuild stuff. That's not in a good situation that you want to be in, because then you're not actually able to shoot back. If you're building one of our small little 1x1 towers or 2x1 towers, depending on how many people are on your team, you can actually repair those real quickly while continuing to fight people. And D, most of the time they can just shoot things down, and then if they shoot the bottom of your base out, the whole thing comes crashing down anyway. In general, like I said, you don't want to be building these. Now, in case you should happen to come up on a fort that's been completely overtaken or emptied out because the team that had it died, and you want to just camp in there for a minute or take it over because people think it's clear, that's not a bad idea, because you didn't waste any of the materials, and B, people might not know you're there. So in that situation, maybe you want to use it, but in general, I try and avoid them. They're just way better ways to use the building mechanic to your advantage, rather than wasting time and resources to build these mega forts. No matter how cool they look, I admit they look pretty cool. So anyway, guys, that's the top 5 worst builds that you want to be doing in Fortnite. Again, like I said, these are not silly forts, these are not silly builds, these are actual real builds that people are doing in almost every single match that you want to avoid at all costs. Let me know what you guys think. Have any of you tried these? Have you had negative experiences? Have you actually made them work for you? Just tell me in the comment section below what you think. So hopefully you guys will check out the other videos in the playlist on this series where we're talking about Fortnite tutorials. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, please don't leave without leaving a like. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're not following me on social media, the links are in the description down below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon, and I'll see you next time. Peace.